A new social media and content platform called uSync. That's our Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. Joining us from uSync is CEO Darrell Lynn. Hi, Darrell.
Hi, hey, good morning, Fred.
Good morning. Well, tell us, what is uSync?
Well, it's a social platform that really has a different way of thinking differently about how we interact with each other. It's a tool for engaging people in a dynamic and an inspirational way. And we think that's pretty needed today in social.
Well, we're going to step through it in a second,
Okay.
but tell us how this came about. What is the gap that you saw that you're trying to fill?
Yeah, so many years ago, I was having a conversation with Ben Cerf that kind of shows my age a little bit. And one of the things around the early development of the internet was this archival opportunity for us to put our memories and take things in moments in time and be able to pull them up at later points in time. When I was at Apple, one of the things that I was really excited about was the one-to-one program, which I led. And that was the idea that every child would go to school with a laptop and be able to collaborate and do projects and be able to control a little bit of their own learning. And the missing piece in all this, Link, was not the teacher to student piece, but it was a part where students were working together with each other collaboratively. And so when we left, the idea was to see if we could close that gap a little bit, to be able to create a social piece that had a destination for not only learning, but for the memorabilia that Vin talked about. And that's kind of how this thing grew over the past few years. It's kind of blossomed into a very cohesive set of tools that allow us not only to create social links between people, but also build on those so that individuals who are working together have an incredibly inspirational place to plan ideas, collaborate, share memorabilia, and get to know each other in a deeper and more positive way than we currently have today.
How do you avoid some of the pitfalls? I mean, all of us, or many of us anyway, most of us perhaps, use social media to connect with old friends and work colleagues and relatives and things. And it's wonderful, birthday greetings and such. But on the other hand, there's a lot of, I could say, hate, divisiveness that's fostered sometimes on the networks. How do you avoid some of the pitfalls?
I think being human is the first way to do it. It's just easy in social media to go negative. It's easy to take swipes at people because you don't have any consequences for those actions. What we've attempted to do with uSync, and as part of our culture of our team, we're a multinational team. We're all working remotely, and we've learned a lot about each other and each other's cultures. Taking time with meaningful conversations and being able to have conversations that promote our work and ourselves changes this significantly. We've seen a tremendous use by our beta folks who have even commented on the lack of toxicity associated with communicating on our platform. I think it's because a couple things. First of all, the users get to share what they want to share. It's not a reposting like current 20-year-old platforms are. As a result of that, you're pretty careful of the kinds of things that you want to put out there. We've done things instead of just friending somebody. We recommend things, and we have to provide examples of why we're recommending certain things to people. So it looks just like a pull tag in a story. We look at the way in which the algorithms of the platform work to identify toxicity and poor behavior and poor sense of style that relates to taking swipes at other people. Will we always get it right? Probably not. It's a learning process. But we've attempted to try to put humanity back into this, and there's consequences for things that you do say and things that you do.
For those who are curious here, tell us more about your background and what led you to this.
Well, I've always been, I guess, in the internet business. Way back when, was one of the first individuals that actually brought a school district into the 21st century with the internet, and literally wired every classroom and every administrative office together in a large district in Southern California. And that's when I began my working with various federal organizations to build out a wide area environment where people could do these kinds of learning activities and collaborate not only with universities between them, but also with the labs and things like that around the country. From there, my destination was working not only in government, but working with organizations like Next and Apple. And I guess it's always been in things that try to push us a little bit further toward creating opportunities for people to be creative. And this is just a natural extension of that. This is probably the best project I think I've ever been involved with. I can't tell you how excited I am about this.
Well, step us through how this is going to work for people and how they would get started.
Well, the thing we're doing right now, we're getting ready next week to launch uSync. And as with any platform, you've got this kind of chicken and egg. You've got content that you've got to be able to have inside to attract people to browse, because people will appropriate it first, not convert. So we've opened the beta program up for that. And we've got some really great content by really good writers who decided to take a chance. And the thing that will happen next week, that people will get in, if they get an opportunity to be among the first to join, they will kind of go in, create their profile. We'll give them a guided tour. When you get in the application, you take the tour and you'll learn how to use the basic features of uSync. And once they get that all created, then they begin to share their content with other people. And we think it's going to be just absolutely a huge opportunity for people that get in first, because they'll get a chance to get visibility and become the first onboarders for the application. I will say, Fred, we're pretty excited because on October 11th, we're going to the UK. So we've got two fast destinations here, the North America launch, and then followed up on the 11th, we've got the UK. So we've got a lot of fast stepping to do to make ready for those opportunities.
Well, tell us how people always want to know, okay, so what is in it for the company? How are you making money from this?
That's a great question.
What should people know?
Well, we've all been blessed with a great opportunity over our years to work. And part of this is a give back opportunity for us. We knew technically this was a real hard thing to do. When we first began, some of the tools that we have today just weren't available. So we knew we had to make this robust, responsive, beautiful. It had to entice a user to get incredibly excited about just even looking at it before they even make a decision on jumping in. I think we've done that. And so all of this is like with any startup, we took the route of bootstrapping it ourselves. We felt we wanted to put more time into the technology and getting it right than we wanted to spend out trying to raise money. So we're opening this up as a paid app, $3.99. We've had no pushback from that. And the advantage is you don't have to see any ads. We have a real interesting, we kind of come alongside a few other companies today where we feel that ads can really be disruptive to the flow of you getting on and reading content and seeing beautiful media. So the decision we made is we're going out with a model of $3.99, and that's a one-time fee, allows all the updates to take place. And will we revisit that in the future at some point? Maybe, but if we do, it's going to be done with the user in mind, not with the company in mind. I mean, that's kind of the thing that we've all been thought about, is putting the user first. And so if we do anything differently than that, it's kind of wait and see. But right now, we're just looking for people to get on and have a great time.
Do you think that's going to have your base here more targeted to a little older? You're not going to get the younger kids on here at $3.99 for the app.
I don't think that's the case. People often ask, especially in the VC world, what's your target audience, right? So we were kind of in that same camp. We were thinking this is thoughtful content, and we wouldn't expect that to be what our current demand is with some of the other platforms. But we had people on as young as 14. And these are, I would say, kids that are writers that like to put creative things together for sure. But we're finding that the 20-year-olds are really liking this because of the privacy aspect of it, because we're not selling people's data, and because of the fact that it's beautiful to look at, and they can still do everything they do today. For instance, uSync is really comprehensive, but it's not designed to be comprehensive for comprehensiveness sake. It's designed in a way in which it allows you to do a lot depending on your mood or your expectation. So we've got pieces in the application that allow you to do everything you would do by a quick broadcast. Hey, today I'm hanging out with my folks. I'd like to show you a tour, and they pick up their camera and they, are able to take a view of where they happen to be. They can be as simple as that, or as comprehensive as putting on a major event where you can plan venues, plan meetups, plan tailgate parties. You can put on a backyard concert and share it out and let people know about it. It's just one of those platforms that allowed us to do things that it takes a lot of other platforms combined to do. And because we did it in a way that is powerful, I know this doesn't make a lot of sense. It's actually more simple to use. We put what you don't see is we put most of the work into. And so we think it's a very comprehensive platform. We think that individuals that are just used to giving shout outs are going to find it really inspiring.
What platforms will people be able to access it on?
Well, we have done something here in the last month that I'm tremendously excited about. It's one of those things where we said, we're not going to go out until we get this right. We have the ability to share with your existing social platforms with one click. So if you've got an Instagram account, Facebook account, Twitter, literally the content you create inside uSync can be shared outside to those spaces with one click. And I think that's going to really excite people because they can use all the tools and all the features of uSync and then share that with their friends and with their members on those other platforms.
Can you access this only via mobile, the app, or desktop? How do people?
It's mobile. It's mobile. We are currently finishing up the work, which we'll have done by the middle of October for both the Mac app and for the Google app as well. So you'll be able to run it on your desktop machines as a standalone application.
Very interesting. So, doesn't sound like an easy road to build a new social network at all, and to track the number of users that you need to consider yourself successful. So tell us more about the game plan, how this scales out.
Great. So we believe we built a lot of this technology with the idea that we won't have to have initially at first thousands of people driving this forward. We've been very thoughtful and careful about the management of this. We own our own content delivery network. We don't ride on the back of any other service. So that allows us not only to control costs, but also build in the automation necessary to run this with fewer people. Our model for everything we do in development code is very modern in terms of being able to work in teams and be able to push code through. Let's get a little deep on the technical part, but the idea is we paid as much attention to how we would work as a culture as we did the actual final application. So we think we've got headcount potential significant gains there. In terms of our monetization approach, we are looking first for people to trust us in terms of with their content and with all of the valuable memorabilia that they want to put inside of uSync and share. And we want to earn that. And we believe if we do the right things and we're honest and we're conscious about that people will help us find a way that we can continue to do great work without having to go after selling data and those other kinds of things, which some platforms tend to do. And it's hard to change, by the way. Once you establish a particular approach, cannibalizing that approach is really, really hard. It affects your stockholders and everything else. But because we're a private company, we get a chance to kind of go slower. Our goal right now is 250,000 users in the next 120 days. We can use everybody's help, all your listeners, to hopefully go out and buy the app. Once we get through kind of this initial, phase, I think we're going to be really rolling here.
Is there also a charge for storing your videos or images as well?
At this time, no, we're not taking that approach because obviously we're young. We have to kind of take a look at what that looks like. On the other hand, we're doing some things technologically that I'm sure a lot of our brothers and sisters on other platforms are doing, looking at ways we can press at the same time, dealing with things like 8K video now, and how we kind of bridge the gap. We've done some things around the various devices in terms of knowing what device we're shipping things to, if you will, and what kind of compression algorithm we're using so the quality is good on any device, whether it's a phone or an iPad mini or a full-size tablet. And that's helped us in terms of trying to keep storage down. We're never going to have to charge for text, of course, but if we have to do something in the media, it's going to be incredibly reasonable. But we got to make sure that we're doing the right thing first.
Terrific. So for more information, where should we steer people to go right now?
Well, it's uSync.com, and go to the App Store and pay $3.99, buy the application, try it out, and if you don't like it, write me personally, and I'll take care of it for you. That's one thing about being a startup. It's really great, right? As we all know, you get an early chance to know your customer, get the chance to know who's making a difference in the work you do. So always reach out to us. We'll be able to respond.
And it's the letter U, SYNC.com. Darrell Lynn, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Absolutely, Fred. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Have a great day.